Hi, my name is Brandon, and over the past year, the Delight Cafe team and I traveled across the U.S. researching this rapidly growing industry of CBD products. What we have found throughout the industry were products that were inconsistent in dosage and used ingredients that weren't even lab tested. Products with chalky textures, bitter aftertaste, and worst of all, confusion among the CBD consumers. That's why we created Delight Cafe. A 15 milligram lab-tested, all-natural, water-soluble hemp CBD powder pack. It's odorless, colorless, and tasteless. Add it to your favorite drink of choice, wherever, whenever, on the go. Quickly find your calm, your balance, and your delight when you need it most.
Good morning. Good morning. Java Delight will uplift you. Stay tuned. The show is about to begin. Grab your coffee. Stay tuned. This show is about to begin.
Good morning.
We both just smile at each other. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is... Oh, I need a headset on. Go ahead, Gavin. My name is Brandon Croucher. This is Gavin Kerr, the sexy. Gavin,
it's a rainy, tired morning kind of feel to it.
It literally... How much rain did you get last night, just by chance?
I'm not sure throughout the night. I must have been a lot because I was in a pretty dead sleep. But I know all throughout yesterday it was coming down pretty hard over here. We had some very big like spurts. So probably for an hour or so it would just pour and pour and pour, and then it would stop for a couple hours. And then we get another 30 minute to an hour spurt where it was just really, really, really heavy rain.
Really?
And that was pretty consistent throughout the day and probably the night as well.
Did you get the thunder and lightning and all that?
No, not that I recall. No thunder.
So, do you want to laugh?
Always.
So, my mom, you know that my cough is coming back.
There's the thunder.
So, it's honestly the moisture. There's the thunder. Here's the lightning.
I thought you were gonna have like a seizure or something. I'd be like, there's the lightning.
There.
Yeah,
that's funny. Excuse me. I felt like I was gonna cough again. So yesterday, my mom. All right, I told you about my parents. They ordered a whole bunch of soil and mulch, and that's what we were
they're
do today.
redoing the backyard.
And then guess who showed up? The driveway guys.
Yep.
And they had to move everything. So my mom so what they're tearing out, they had part of the mailbox where my mom has planted all of her flowers. They literally need to take that out. So my mom's like, well, I don't want to lose this. So we moved all this soil. I rotor-tilled, and then I filled a lot of the dirt to make it where my mom could plant. They helped remove the flowers, so that way it's one less thing for us to have to like transplant, and moved it over. And then I'm helping my mom plant. Well, while we're outside yesterday, my mom has her headphones in, and she's dancing to her oldies music. She's like, ooh, plant my plants. Like, for real, like goofy like me. But my mom, she literally does not have any clue that there's thunder and lightning going on. Gavin, I swear to God, a lightning bolt. I'm watching this come in. I see it. I have a shovel in my hand. She has a rake that she's dancing with, a metal rake.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, stop. We're done. We got to go in. All of a sudden, no joke, above the house, a huge lightning bolt. and it just goes boom, and she goes, "Oh, I didn't even know it was going to rain." I'm like, "What are you talking about? It's been thundering for 30 minutes." She's like, "I shouldn't hold this." Oh, it throws it. I'm like, "I love you. I love you. I love you." And then I'm throwing things on top of the dirt to make sure like we get the tarped up and all that.
Yeah.
It just downpour.
Oh my God. I watched a movie yesterday with Daniel Radcliffe where he was talking shit online to some very dangerous people for like this game where you get chosen to hunt and kill other people. It's a weird movie. And these people found him through his IP address and bolted guns to his hands. And
Wait,
so, yeah.
What movie is this?
Let me...
All right, while you do that, I'll start saying hello to people while you pull that up. So good?
Yeah.
You got it. Because we only have a few people here. We have our usuals, and I want to get one of these names correct today.
Gun Akimbo.
When was this made?
Very recently, actually. Let me see the actual date for 2019 film.
What?
And I watched it on what was it? Amazon. Is what I watched.
Who was the main actor?
Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter.
What?
Yeah, let me pull it up on the screen share. But there's a scene. Yeah, he has guns for hands now. And there's a scene in there where he's in an office space and there's a dude just jamming out on his headset while everybody is shooting around him. He has no idea what's going on. And that's what I thought about when you were talking about your mom.
This is hilariously so out of character for him.
Oh no, he's been doing weird movies. Like have you seen Horns?
Yeah, but did you see the Broadway play he did? He has a 10-minute song where he's undressing, and by the time he's done, he's 100% naked. And he's naked on stage in front of the audience. No joke.
Oh, I believe it. You see his penis in there while he's trying to pee while he has the gun hands. That was funny.
I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Like, how do you even pull that out? It's like...
Yeah. Oh, it was...
I don't want to cheddar box.
What the hell was the other movie he did that was, like, really strange? Swiss Army Man.
What? I have no idea what this even is.
Oh my God, I gotta pull that up. So since Harry Potter, his career has just been like. I think the first movie he did after Harry Potter was The Woman in Black, and that was like a strange kind of horror film, but it had a really sweet ending actually. But then the movies that he's done after that have just been so bizarre.
He was a character to begin with, but like. Yeah, like he's had some unique ones. All right, since you're gonna pull Daniel Radcliffe, the conversation I had with my mom this morning when I went and got made my ginger tea, I was like, she was like, we were talking about. So I'm supposed to be in LA today, and I can't because I just have too much going on. But the ESPYs, the sports awards, are coming on, and they started their activities today, technically last night. They had a big dinner for a bunch of the celebrities that could come, and Neil Patrick Harris was there. And he's on my list of people I'd love to meet. Doogie Howser, you know who he is? NPH?
Nope.
So, How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, okay.
He's Barney in How I Met Your Mother. Yeah. So, dude, he grew up.
I recognize him by the way that you said his name.
NPH?
Yeah. Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah, I recognize him.
He was Doogie Howser, which was like a kid doctor back in the day and all that. Like, dude, he was there, and he's one of the people I want to meet. And my mom was like, well, who else do you want to meet? And I'm like, Ryan Reynolds. And she's like, why? And I'm like, oh, my God. So who is a celebrity that you would want to meet that your parents would probably think is weird? Like mine with Ryan Reynolds. I want everybody to comment that too. Who is a celebrity that you would be ecstatic to meet, but your parents think it's the weirdest person ever?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good one.
Just because I don't think I don't think my mother would be expecting me to say that, and I think she would think like she would wonder. She'd probably ask me, why would you have any like interest or curiosity talking to him?
Interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, everybody write your comment there. Gavin, show me your preview, buddy. I'm excited. I don't know this movie at all.
This movie's so weird. Like, and it's a good movie, too. But it's all a metaphor. I don't know what for, but I'd have to watch it probably 3 more times.
What? Hey. You just have to remember that we're all here for a purpose, and the universe picks its time. I need you to help me get home. Okay, buddy? Okay, buddy. Or I'm just hallucinating from starvation. You're special. You're special. There's 7 billion people on the planet. You might be lucky enough to bump into the one person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Oh my God. So this is the life I've forgotten. This is just the beginning.
Swiss Army Man.
I have nothing I can say back to that.
He just does whatever this guy needs him to do. His body just, anything he needs him to do. He manipulates him somehow to being able to chop entire trees in half with his arm. And
what did you watch this on?
I think that one's on Netflix.
All right, Swiss Army Man. I'm going to have to look that one up.
Yeah, if you have a Roku TV, you can actually go to the search bar and look up any movie, and it'll tell you everything that you can watch it on, whether it's free or paid for.
Interesting. I did not know Roku did that now.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes, he's done a lot of really weird movies.
Yeah, like that.
They're good. Like, they're good movies.
He gets picked for these hard roles. Like, how do you become a Swiss Army knife and play like you're dead the whole time, like he just did?
Yeah, that was his whole role. He just had to be like this
corpse.
Yeah, essentially this corpse.
That's funny. Let's say hello to everybody and see who their celebrities are. Sound good, my friend?
Yeah.
So, ready?
Oh, good morning, Sherry.
Good morning, Brian. Now, I call the next one. You ready?
Okay.
Good morning, Yulsa. Brian Tracy sent me the proper way to say her name. It's Y-U-L-E-S-U-H, phonetically.
Do you have the phonetics right there written for you?
I do.
Okay.
Did you see how much I looked over?
Yeah, I did. I was
wanted
like, wow,
to make sure.
You're really focusing on this name we've been deciphering for 3 days now.
I had to get it right. I wore the shirt for her today. This is my South African shirt. This is how old this shirt is now. This was by far one of my favorite shirts for a while. It is the South African flag on a shark. And you can see it's been peeling off. But no, I wanted to get her name correctly. And that was 100% because I wanted to respect her with the proper naming.
Yes, gotcha.
Yulsa, it's good to see you this morning, and they're having their own conversation.
I see that.
Holy crap, he said it right. I did know my TV did that. I did not know my TV did that. I didn't know that either. What the fuck did I just watch? What the fuck? Bruce Willis. Good one. All right, wait. I gave Bruce Willis a subpoena once. There's a story there. I am rushing home to see if I can catch the interview. Catch you guys soon. Bye, Elsa. Get home safe. She literally leaves right when I say her name correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I knew I saw another name in there. Lena.
Hey, Lena.
From Italy. So we have
Italy.
we have Italy, South Africa, Mexico, and the United States all on here this morning. I have to be honest, guys, that makes my heart happy. That makes me very happy. I'm honored to be a part of this with you guys. Waking up, Gavin, like, just being honest to everybody, with you and I. Oh, we got 4 new subscribers yesterday. Thank you, guys. Like, do you think we could hit 300 before the end of the month? We're at 240 exactly.
Yeah. If people like spread the word around,
I think so.
Good, yeah.
I mean, it's not a crazy number, but what we're doing is different. It's live. It's meant to be a conversation. Yeah. And Gavin, you and I waking up to make sure we do this. We don't ask for any money from anybody. I don't push my products because I believe in showing the difference so people will want to be a part of it. You know how difficult it is to plan a show. I watched your one between the notes the other day.
Oh, did that post?
Interview. Yes.
Okay, because when I got on my computer this morning, it said that it was still processing for some reason.
I got a notification because I even wrote a comment yesterday after watching it. I had it going in the background while I was doing stuff.
Okay. I don't know. YouTube's weird sometimes. But no, it was a lot of fun.
She was funny, but had a great persona about her. You've had some really good interviews, and I know that that's something that can be stressful because you have to add up the interviews. You have to talk to people. You have to get things ready. I love that you're doing this. It posted and was awesome, Brian Tracy says.
Awesome. Good. And I'm going to be I've already talked to Brian Tracy about this. I'm going to be switching up how I do the interviews. They'll probably be more like because there's been times where I've had 3 during a week and then I separate them and release them throughout the week. I'm going to be doing 1 a week, and then a couple days prior to that, I got to figure out how to do it, but I'm going to do a reaction to some of their music for it. And I'll be posting that up.
I will show you how to do that after the show. It's honestly way easier than you realize.
I'm sure it is. I figured it was more like a screen share on here, and then I'm just minimized at the side.
Bingo. And if you switch which one we're in, it could be like this. So that way you're the small one and it's the big one. So it'd be like this. And you can literally switch it and talk. What would be really freaking cool is if you do that, and then the first time you play the reaction video is with the band.
What do you mean?
So you pick one of the so you're going to be interviewing. Give me who your next interview is, just so I have a name.
Nightfire.
All right, Nightfire.
I don't think that's the next one, but I know they're coming up.
You got it. It's for the example anyways. So Nightfire. All right, you have Nightfire coming up. If we send them an email asking, hey, if you could have one of your videos picked to have a live reaction to, what would you pick? And then they send it to you. You then watch it and record it like this. And the first time you play that, you're putting it out on the interview with Nightfire. So that way they're watching your live reaction to their song, and then it opens up the conversation.
Maybe just because of copyright reasons. I know the song reviews that I do, they're gonna get flagged immediately. They'll immediately get flagged. So that's why I'm gonna do them separately, because I don't want both videos to get flagged down. Yeah, because I did think of that. I did think because I wanted to, since the beginning, I wanted to pull up their music and listen to it throughout the interview and stuff like that. But I was no, because then copyrights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is weird because they're on the show with me. You'd think YouTube would be all oh, they clearly have permission to use this in their video.
Correct. That's what I was thinking. So, hey, Jessica Dugas, if you're still here, give us another sign. I want to ask you a question.
She's not a culture, guys.
Well, no, I'm looking at the viewing audience, and she sometimes pops in, gives a hug, and then leaves.
I just want to laugh. You're Jessica Dugas, if you're here, can you give us a sign?
I get it. Ooh, Jessica. Do you notice my nails are a little brighter today?
I did. I thought you painted them and wasn't going to say anything.
I did.
Oh, you did paint them. Oh, okay.
I did an entire manicure on myself last night, and it's the first time I've ever taken the time to do it myself. And I'm tired of biting my nails. I really am working hard to not bite my nails. I'm watching myself on the screen, and if I see myself going, I know to fix it and stop. Okay. But I was told to get a manicure. So I did one last night to myself, late last night. I couldn't sleep. I took like 2 hours to do my manicure because I've never cleaned. Dude, I had cuticles. I had, like, look at this shit. Look how much better they look. It was bitten down to nothing. I cleaned it up. If I can go a week without biting my nails, I might actually have a fingernail at the end of this.
Yeah, that's a habit that I've been trying to break is biting my nails. They keep like they'll get kind of long, and I'll start using them to like pick at like my fingertips and stuff like that, or like when I play guitar. And then one day when I'm bored, like I'll just bite the edge of one. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch! I'm not supposed to be doing that. I'm supposed to let them grow.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jessica Dugas just commented, and she's only popping through. And you are supposed. Have you ever done a manicure?
Nope.
Have you ever done a pedicure?
Nope. Oh wait, well, I don't know if you can count this as a pedicure, but I had an ingrown toenail on my right foot and had to get it like all dug out. Yeah.
No.
I did it with like a switchblade. So.
I have. Did you notice I have no big toenails?
No, I don't stare at your feet, Brandon.
We shared a hotel room together.
I wasn't looking at your feet.
Yeah, well, most people catch that right away. They're like, "Wait, do you not have toenails?" I'm like, "Nope, I don't have big toenails." I used to get ingrown toenails so bad, I would dig them out myself; they'd get infected, like you did with the knife.
Yeah.
You could do a few of those, and you'll go fine. It's when you start getting like the toe doesn't feel right, and you're walking and limping. They usually want you to fix it then, like professionally.
Oh, I had it for a year where I would soak my foot in ice cold water until it was numb. And then I take a torch and I would sterilize the knife, and then I dig them out because I couldn't feel anything. But eventually, it got to the point where that like was just no longer an option, and so I went and they pumped my foot full of Novocaine and dug out the nail on each side, and then chemically burned the nerve. So I still have actually the majority of my nail. It's just the sides are trimmed.
I do not. I have no nail. Like I have a horn that grows in on the side on the one nail. And what I mean by that, oh dude, it hurts.
Like a talon?
Yeah, like dude, I'll be sleeping and I'll roll over, and if it grows too long, it'll catch. And imagine just like a hangnail that catches the blanket all the time. Oh, it hurts. My mom was watching me do my toes yesterday, and she's like, ew. I'm like, thanks, Mom. Love you. Gavin needs a mani-pedi. I agree. Honestly, buddy, I think you would like it. And if you're a guitar player, you already are worried about your fingers and you don't need to bite your nails. Getting a manicure, you literally don't want to bite your nails because of the nail polish. So it like becomes a whole different thing. So I think you and I need to go do that together and like film it one day. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right. So Gavin, if you go through and sit in that chair, don't push the big button unless you're ready for a happy ending.
Oh, they have buttons for that now.
They do.
That's kind of nice.
Dude, you pay $100. You sit in a chair.
Oh, forget that. I'm not paying $100 for a happy ending. You're out of your damn mind.
No, it's the happy endings just comes with the $100. You get your nails done, your feet soak, your hands get like all like they heat it up. They like do all these things to make it where it breaks down really nice. It cleans it, and then you're sitting in a massage chair and you're just like, oh. But if you hit the big button, look out. You're going to get the happy ending. It's just going to, all of a sudden, you get a colonoscopy.
Oh.
I'm just kidding about that.
You're a good John Mulaney in this up in here. All right.
I'll take my coffee to go. So, Jessica, who is a celebrity you would want to meet that your parents would think is weird? Mine was Ryan Reynolds. My mom thought that was extremely weird. Where Gavin's was Neil deGrasse Tyson. Brian Tracy named a bunch of porn stars. I haven't heard of any of them. There we go. I got Gavin to laugh on that one.
Well, I saw a meme once where it was like this girl at the airport, And the caption was, "Oh, my girlfriend found a famous person at the airport today. Does anybody know who it is?" And she's sitting next to Ron Jeremy.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious because he is famous. But if I was sitting next to Ron Jeremy, I'd probably move over a seat just because I'd be worried about the disease.
I'd move over a couple.
Yeah,
That guy's the 6 foot rule. Yeah,
he's a celebrity, but it's not one I'd want to sit next to.
Was he better looking when he was younger?
No,
really.
No. Dude, he was the first male porn guy that became somewhat famous. And that sounds really freaking weird, right?
Yeah. Well, I always heard about the great Ron Jeremy, and then one day I saw him. I was like,
yeah, right? Yeah. Think about it. Can you name me another porn guy?
Johnny Sins.
I have no idea who that is, but
he is the handsome, tall, bald, muscular or not an astronaut yet. He's working on that. Doctor, lawyer, policeman, pizza delivery guy, plumber, firefighter. You know who Johnny Sins is.
I probably do. I probably do. That sounds really bad. Really good.
He does a lot of commercials now on Instagram. He does a lot of underwear commercials and stuff.
What? I would be worried about that thing sneaking out and wandering around. What thing's sneaking out? So I don't think Christina's going to show up. I was going through her Facebook yesterday. I think she's going through something right now. I want to send her some good vibes. Wish her the best. I literally.
That's Johnny Sins.
I love the name John Holmes. He's a good-looking guy.
Oh, he's super handsome. Yeah.
And he was in porn?
Oh yeah. Oh, he's in a bunch of them. Dude, super sweet guy, built like a truck, very handsome. Like when I first heard about Ron Jeremy, I imagined he looked something like this guy. No, he's the exact opposite in every single way.
Every single way.
Yeah.
Every single way. Like he's famous because he was like the first male porn star that was recognized.
Yeah. It is difficult to forget looking at him, so I can understand that.
Yeah, but do you think that if you're going to be watching a porno, that's the dude you want to watch with it?
No, absolutely not.
I like to think of myself as better than that. And I don't mean that in
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe people are like, oh, well, if this guy can get laid by these beautiful women, then maybe I can. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe, but they are being paid to be there.
Yeah, but how many people do you really think about that? Especially younger kids who are just getting into pornography. How many people are really thinking oh my God, these people are getting paid to do this. This woman has to be here. She's getting paid for it. It's her job. No, they're thinking, oh my God, they got to get this done quick before stepdad gets home. Dumb stuff like that.
I agree. Yeah. Some of these comments are great though. Ron Jeremy's father was Sasquatch. Brian Tracy, this is my other favorite one. This is great. John Holmes, the original Big Timber. That's how I read that in my head. For real.
Just imagine a similar, just a big burly guy without a shirt just pouring maple syrup on himself.
That's kind of what I'm picturing now in my head. I can't picture anything else. Jessica Dugas said for her celebrity, I guess Joey from New Kids on the Block, but that would be because my uncle would make jokes about being the old kids on the block now, which is true. But then she comes back right away with, Richard Simmons. I have not seen Richard Simmons in years. I'd be curious how he's aged. Because he already looked like life was starting to hit him kind of hard. And that was a couple years ago.
Yeah. It's weird now seeing
That's why I laughed. I saw it come in and I'm like, oh God.
I see. You know who also carried a huge stick? Theodore Roosevelt.
Moses
did as well, yeah.
He did. He carried
Part of
his
the sea.
staff with him everywhere. Sam Elliott.
Gandalf the Grey
Mm.
and Gandalf the White. Both men with giant sticks.
I'm trying to think. What's his name? The one that like would hit. Oh my gosh! It just started pouring. I don't remember. I forget his name. So I need Richard to do a sweating with the oldies on a Wednesday segment. You know what? Deal. Jessica Dugas, I will do a Richard Simmons throwback. We'll turn on an old Richard Simmons video, and Gavin and I will wear leotards like they used to wear back in the day. Do you want to be Richard, or do you want to be one of the backup girls?
And honestly, I don't know anything about what's going on right now. So,
do you know who Richard Simmons is?
I keep thinking of Gene Simmons every time you say Simmons.
Oh, I did not know this. Richard Simmons lost his mind and is in seclusion or hiding. Dementia, I think. I had no idea. All right, hold on. You tell everybody about our guest today, and I'm going to bring up Richard Simmons. Sound good?
Yeah.
I have to find you a Richard Simmons thing, because this is just funny to me that you have no idea who he is, and he is like honestly a huge like.
Do you know who Joseph Panetta is?
It sounds familiar.
That's because he's our guest today.
Oh, that's because I read his bio earlier.
Did you like that?
I did. Well played.
I paused and everything like I had to remember. It's right in front of me. Zing! Anyway.
Zing! You got me. All right, go ahead. I'll shut up. Read his bio so people know to tune in the next 20 minutes for our interview. And then I'm going to bring in some Richard Simmons facts.
So he is an Air Force brat. Joseph was born in Panama Canal zone and was bilingual from birth. He just popped out just speaking multiple languages. I like how he worded that. Bilingual from birth.
Right?
Moving to the Mississippi offered him the experiential lens for the greater part of America. How they think, feel, shop, educate in Stockholm and Paris. As his language skills grew, so did his worldview, particularly his understanding of the female consumer. Raised by a woman, his experience was always through the female lens. Thus, he was well poised to enter communications and marketing, where he spent the bulk of his career. At every juncture through New York City marketing agencies to global positions in China, London, and Geneva, Joseph's innate storytelling abilities, he is Southern after all, combined with a deep understanding of culture and linguistic diverse shapes, brand campaigns, and led retail breakthroughs and sellouts and more. Not least, working with Elizabeth Taylor and launching the one and only Wonderbra. Sounds like a comic book.
I have to be honest with everybody. Gavin did not know what a Wonderbra was before the show. I had to tell him what it was. And honestly, I don't think I've heard it in years.
I'm sure I've seen them. I just had no idea that's what they were called.
Yeah.
That's probably exactly what happened. At the forefront of Gen X, Joseph straddles boomers and millennials and spotted a growing trend. Thanks to technology, the 21st century consumer seeks to quote unquote belong. They want brands that not only answer problems or provide a service, but brands that connect them to a community. That was the inspiration behind Phoenix. Together with hand-selected seasoned executives from past clients, Phoenix is designed to deliver products to this new consumer, products that belong to them. After 30 years in New York, London, and Paris, Joseph lives in LA, but still feels like a New Yorker.
Huh. Very interesting. So he's going to teach us about marketing as a man, how he's been able to build his company through marketing to women. I think that's a great thing. I love it. All right. You ready, buddy? This is Richard Simmons. I guarantee you're going to remember him right away.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that dude. Weird Al Yankovic looking. Mofo.
All right, you ready? Let's have some fun with this. How old do you think Richard Simmons is?
Today,
He does not look like this today, I'll tell you that.
yeah, I want to say
Look how old his website is.
67.
Okay. I'm going to let our audience make a couple guesses.
You know, it's
too.
73. I want to say 73. That was my first guess.
I have to be honest, Gavin. I'm going to give it to you without even letting anybody else guess. He is 73. Good job, buddy. You said it, and I'm like, all right. So Richard Simmons' net worth is $20 million. And it's funny because he disappeared for about 7 years and then came back out of nowhere during COVID to help people work out at home. Wow. Okay? Because he just has this unique, like, come on, everybody, let's dance. And
I've seen spoof commercials, yeah.
So for me, I think we're going to be able to do this. Like, you can wear the short shorts, okay? And are you willing to wear the short shorts or the leotard?
It doesn't matter to me. I'll wear anything. I'll wear nothing if I have to.
We can't have that on air. But
no, we can't, but it's on the table.
But it's on the table. I like it. Wait, there's no issues there. But he came out of hiding. His net worth is $20 million. But apparently, and this is funny because Brian mentioned it here, apparently he was for tax evasion things with cops and welfare checks. He is a dark, mysterious man. So that was the thing I found really quickly is he literally came out of nowhere. His net worth was over $20 million. He's 73 years old. And banana hammocks. I am not going to approve that one, Jessica Dugas. I am not approving banana hammocks as a form of what we can wear on the show. Just because you want to see Gavin in one does not mean that we need to approve this as the show. We'll make that the show's logo at the beginning. But he avoided paying his taxes in the 90s. And because he came out of hiding in 2020, he came out again in 2020 to be famous, they started finding all these tax stuff from him. And he wasn't paying taxes or anything. It was really interesting. I was clicking on things really quickly to find a good website, and then I found his actual website.
Sorry, really quick. I just went on to my Facebook because I noticed yesterday that people were commenting on my profile and wasn't seeing it. So quick shout out to Jonathan Vandercook and Joseph A. Balateo.
It didn't show up on yours?
No, it's showing up on my personal Facebook, but it's not showing up on our stream right here. So I just want to give those people a quick shout out. Thank you for watching.
Do you know what's interesting? Since you're on Facebook, go to the Facebook Java Delight and the Delight page, because we have not one comment from anybody on anything else. And we usually have Twitch, we have Facebook, we have a whole bunch, and we have none from any of the other platforms right now. Yeah. And I'm wondering if there's a glitch because, I'm looking at this going,
Yes. No, I definitely feel that. Let me check.
But
I don't see anything yet on the Java Delight page. I just saw them on mine.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because I know mine the other day had nothing coming up. I love how people get mad about tax stuff. They just jealous because they weren't smart enough to find the loopholes. And I have to be honest, I agree with Jessica on that. I 100% do. You can't be mad that somebody who made a lot of money paid somebody to find the loophole where they don't have to pay taxes. I'm not being weird. That's how the rich actually stay rich, is they buy a building. And while you and I are like, I want to buy a building, they work their ass off, got their money, then they turn around and the building they buy, if they fix it up, they get tax breaks on it to such a point that they're actually getting money back for fixing these buildings up in cities. Or they invest into infrastructures in the cities and they get these huge tax breaks. It's not about writing a $500,000 check to Goodwill or the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It is a nonprofit, but it's not about that. It's about actually rebuilding your communities. That is where tax breaks come in. That is how the rich stay rich, is they literally take these taxes that are there and they reinvest money into the city, their money, and the money comes right back to them to want to keep abandoned buildings that are historical there. They want to take newer, cities don't want to completely rebuild because it's cheaper. They do that because it's cheaper. The ones that are trying to revitalize themselves and regrow, Cleveland, Detroit, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's done it better than anybody. They make businesses collaborate. And if they're not willing to collaborate with one another, they don't get grants, they don't get loans, they don't get stuff. Business and nonprofits have to communicate. And in cities, we're losing that connection. Now, I say all that to say that's where the money needs to come in, is how do the rich stay rich? You make enough that you buy these places and you get these huge tax breaks back, and you're able to keep building your own money. So, just a little side thing. My ADD kicked in there for a minute too. But I agree with Jessica Dugas. Like, if there's loopholes, there's loopholes. So, Gavin, what are your plans for today?
Well, I finally got my roommate situation figured out. I got 3 people. I was posting ads and whatnot, and the stars aligned, and I got 3 people moving in. Yes, yeah, I got 3 out of my 4 rooms filled. And it's
well, you're in the 4th one, aren't you?
No, there's 5 rooms total. The one room has the animals in it, so if I needed to, I would get a person in there, and I would probably get rid of some of the animals again.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what animal would you get rid of? I mean, I love the dog. The cat is like a best friend of mine when I was over there. But
can't stand that cat.
Why?
Because she likes to meow at 4 a.m. and prick me between the legs with her little claws while I'm in dead sleep.
That's not nice.
No, it isn't nice.
Is she fixed?
No, she's not.
Oh, so you're her partner then.
Apparently.
Yeah, she has a crush on you, buddy. She's like...
No, not a fan of that. She's not my type. What can I say?
She's not my type. That's funny.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm sorry. So what are you up to today, buddy?
So, the rabbit, apparently Alina, one of my friends who's moving in, she's going to be taking the rabbit. I can't get rid of this damn rabbit. Every time I try to, somebody's like, oh, I'll take him. And then they move in with me. I'm like, get this stupid thing out of the house. I don't want it.
That's funny.
Like,
that is funny.
Yeah. So that's the leopard gecko I could probably keep in my room. And then the boas I might have to find new homes for if I get somebody in that room down there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm not sleep downstairs.
Well, there's 2 rooms downstairs.
Oh, I didn't know that. I only saw yours.
Yeah, there's mine, and then the one right next to it is where I have the animals at. No, I saw it.
I'm sitting here. I'm like, I did it.
I saw the comment.
I like the one before it. I love you guys. We love you too, Mandy. You bring us a smile.
You must know, Mandy. No, I don't mind a little hair.
Oh my God. I forget who it was, but somebody put a picture up or a video. They did a TikTok thing. You know how you could like watch something and record your reaction, I guess. So they were watching it. It was this Muslim girl talking to her mom about how
I saw that. I think Maritza is one.
I think so too. That's who I was picturing. Yeah. I laughed so hard at that.
Talking about the jungle.
I was like, oh my God, that's priceless.
Yeah,
priceless.
That was a good one.
So today's supposed to rain all day. So my yard work I had to get done today for with my parents for their yard. I can't even do. But for the most part, it's okay. I got a lot of work to get done in front of me anyways, and I'm ready to knock it out. There we go. Our first comment from Facebook, Jaybird. I guess it just had a glitch. The rabbit will grow on you and multiply. And
no, it won't. No, it won't. It's not going to grow. I mean, I've had it we've had this rabbit for like 2 years now. I didn't like it when we got it. Don't like it now. It's not going to grow on me, Joe.
What is your rabbit's name?
It's not my rabbit. It's my little brother's rabbit, and he doesn't want it. See, even he doesn't want it. But I want to say, I think it's like Snowball or something like that. And I think Crystal renamed it when she had it for like the 2 weeks she took care of it. That irritated me. Oh my God.
There was some animosity there. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I told her for weeks. I told Crystal for weeks, hey, babe, I think I'm going to get rid of this rabbit. I'm trying to find somebody. And then I kept telling her, I was like, no one's going to take it. I think I'm just going to let it go. Well, it'll die. I know, but something will eat it. It'll go back to the earth, full circle. It'll be okay. And she's like, well, does it bite? No. Would it let me hold it? Yes. Can I hold it? Fine. It's my baby. I love it. Oh, great. Then you can take care of it. I will. You gotta clean its cage. Oh, I will. You gotta water and feed it. And then she's like, she keeps saying she will. A week goes by. Crystal, where's the water? Its thing is dirty. It needs food. What are you doing? Oh, well, maybe if we moved into our room, I would remember about it because I just forget that it's in that back room there. No, please, no, please, no, please, fine. Because I think she was mad at me about something, so I moved the damn rabbit into our room. It's like trying to make it better thing, like as an apology. She was so happy about it. She never took care of the rabbit. She gave it water now and again. She gave it food now and again, especially like when I had to remind her. But all it did was fling poop and shit around our room, and it smelled, and it kept us up at night with the stupid water dish, just drinking from that little marble in a ball.
I'm just letting you go.
Yeah. I was like, hey, remember your baby? Remember this rabbit that you love so much? Yeah. You gotta take care of me, get rid of it. Yeah, I don't want the rabbit anymore.
I think
why did you drag this out for a month and a half?
I'm so angry. I'm sorry.
I hate this rabbit. And I can't just I really can't just like eat it like I've been wanting to, or just like let it go, because it was my little brother's emotional support rabbit when his dad died. And even though he doesn't want it at all, he has no care in it whatsoever. My mother's all like, Cam, that's not morally okay. That's ethically wrong. I'm like, I know, but it's also just sitting down there in a small cage. Like,
I have to be honest. I had a rabbit for years. His name was LeBron. And this was before LeBron he was big, but he's LeBron now. But This rabbit was one of the absolute worst pets I've ever had. I'm not even like going to sugarcoat it. This thing was mean. He wanted his own face. Like, oh no, rabbits don't bite. I have never seen a rabbit clamp. Oh my God, this thing clamped onto my one friend's finger where she goes to pull her finger out and the rabbit came with her. I'm like, whoa! Like, that's going to hurt. But like, dude, oh man, it's one of those things where rabbits are a pet you're either going to love or you're going to have problems with. And I'm personally, I love my rabbit. I loved him to death, but he was just a mean son of a bitch. And he would stomp at you. Does your rabbit do the stomp where it's like...
I don't know. That thing, I give it food, I give it water, and I clean out its tank. Every now and again, I'll buy like some toys for it, but I don't mess with it. I have no interest in it. You know Miranda?
Yeah.
She has a rabbit, and she like loves this thing, but she has a bond with this rabbit. Like, she has the perfect human-rabbit relationship where it's free roaming, it's litter trained, and it comes up and snuggles with her and sleeps with her at night. Like, she is like a dog or like a cat for a rabbit.
I've never heard that with a rabbit. Mandy Atterbury says, feed the rabbit to your snake.
Snake isn't big enough. Thought about it. Mother said no.
Mother said no. I like that answer best. My mom said I can't.
Yeah. He's on jumbo rats right now. He's not quite on rabbits.
He's pretty big. Your snake is getting bigger.
6 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shed twice for me since I've had him, so.
I didn't tell you. So the other day I was outside helping my parents.
Yeah.
I found a snake skin that's at least 4 feet long.
Nice. Black rat?
I don't know what it was. I didn't see the snake. It was it was the fact that I found the skin I picked it up and I'm holding it, and my parents both could see it from across their yard, like how long it was. Like, ah! I'm like, this could eat one of your dogs. Like, it really couldn't. But
have you seen the ancient snake temples and caves in Thailand?
Show me.
Yeah. Esther, if you're watching right now, you're gonna want to not be watching because I know how much she hates snakes.
Who?
Esther.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
That was my date the other night. She has watched the show the past couple of days, just like tuning in and out. She likes me, so I don't know if she likes the show or not. But anyway, in Thailand, there are these giant snake caves. And nobody, like, it's theorized that these are fossilized. Like, nobody really knows exactly how these were made.
Really?
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I only... Mandy Atterbury's snake is almost 5 feet long now.
Nice. But yeah, they all look like the body of a snake.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and people theorize they're like some like crazy ancient ginormous snakes.
I mean, there were giants that lived on our planet before we were here.
Well, maybe even more like recently. Like that's why a lot of people theorize that some people have such a huge fear of snakes is because
Anaconda.
Yeah, well, no, because like so supposedly way back when there was a small time period where we had these enormous snakes still that would feed on like our ancestors, like when we were like very beginning of humanity.
That's interesting.
And so it's a hereditary thing that is just because fear is hereditary. Like fear will pass down from generation to generation.
I see. I am not a fan of snakes, but mine is more. I remember being a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm walking in the forest, and there's a frog jumping, and all of a sudden a snake and pulls it back, and I'm like not even within a foot of it.
Yeah.
And then the next like 2 to 3 years later, because of my fear, look at my sweat. This is because I wear this shirt so much.
Oh, but, I see it all the time. I just don't say anything.
I always sweat. I sweat eating ice cream in the middle of the winter. You know my joke. Like, I always sweat, and I hate it. Like, I even had a conversation about it yesterday. They were like, this person was like, oh, I hate sweat. Like, I'm like, yeah, I do too. Imagine not being able to stop it. Like, I was told Botox. Have you ever heard that?
I know what Botox is. I was
Mark
not
is
aware
in the
that
background, and he's nodding his head yes. I'm going to ask that question on air now. We're going to be ready because, like, Joseph has he's going to teach us a lot of things, and I'm excited to have him on, especially having our brand that we have. He's going to be on in the next like 4 to 5 minutes, guys. Please make sure you stay around to be able to help, to have comments, questions, and everything answered. We're going to learn all about the Wonderbra because Gavin has never heard of it, and he's really curious. We even have an audience member that's already asked us if there is a male Wonderbra like that we can invent that actually helps men develop pecs. And I thought that was an interesting idea.
I've seen shirts where like they're designed to bring in the waist and the hips a little bit, and then sort of like push everything upward and help with your posture as well.
Is that for men or women?
Men. They're like compression shirts. I always see on they have these really like weird commercials. I see them on Instagram all the damn time where it's like this guy and he's standing like this in an elevator and he's got the special shirt on and his pecs are popping and the girl walks in and he's like texting, and then he turns around and the girl looks at him and then looks down at her and is like, oh. Like, weird commercials.
I was picturing a corset like that women used back in the day to be able to like tighten everything. We just took that and turned it in for men to be able to use so we look like we have bigger muscles up top. Like I don't know about this. This is an interesting one. I've never heard that, but for me, I don't have a corset. The last bra I wore was my mom's when I was a kid, so I really don't have any desire to put one on. But I do like to go to shows and like drag shows and stuff. And they've been trying to convince me to start trying to try a dress on and all that. Would I wear would I need a Wonderbra for that? I think so. We're going to have to ask Joseph about that. Joseph's face is already in the back like, what did I get myself into? Don't worry, buddy. You're going to be good. We're going to make sure we have a good time with you today. Oh, he's biting his nails. We already talked about biting nails today. I'm going to ask you questions on that too. Oh, that's funny. So Jay Bird made one good comment on this that made me laugh hysterically about your snakes. They were having a party and then they all got stoned. But I thought, dad jokes, love them.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It's not the first stoned reptile joke I've heard, but I like that one. I know a song that's about getting stoned with dinosaurs. Yeah, Trevor Moore. Remember that one comedian that I showed you in the car where he was drunk text to myself?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a song about getting stoned with dinosaurs.
I have no idea about the song. I forget it. Did you play it for me?
I don't think so.
I was going to say, dude, we had 60 hours in a car together of just whatever we wanted to play for each other. Yeah. And then one of us would sleep and we'd switch it. And yeah.
A lot of musicals, a lot of comedic songs, and then lots of a lot of like inspirational and philosophical videos is mostly what we did.
We did. And then random, like when Gavin was asleep, if I needed to stay awake, I needed something that was just like brain dead for me. So I would watch like The Simpsons and I'd just have it on in the background. Homer would make some random joke. Mr. Burns would say something and it would make me chuckle with the windows down and I could drive all night.
Well, I thought that you were like I thought there was a lot of times because the way that Homer's voice would carry is I could hear it through my earbuds. And it sounded like you were like just yelling, just ranting, pissed off about something. And you were just going off.
And then you took the headphones off and I'm silent. And
it would confuse the hell out of me. I'm like, is he watching me in the rearview mirror right now?
I'm yelling at you while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm like, you sleep so horribly.
Yeah. Well, I know people who do that. Like my birth father, he would be in the shower and I would just hear him just going off. Like he would just have like shower arguments, but really, really loud and passionately. And then, or like if we went camping and like he would think that like me and my little brother were asleep and he would just be talking. Either he was talking to whoever he was dating at the time, or he would be just to himself, just bitching and ranting about stuff.
I
thought it was a normal thing.
No, I've never known somebody to just be yelling in the shower. I mean, maybe that's like his space, so he clears his head and gets all his conversations out. But I just think that's unique because I've heard of singing in the shower. I've heard of many things in the shower, but I've never heard anybody just yelling at nobody in the shower. Like that, your dad's my first.
Yeah. No, basically how like you got like Phil, how he's got the disco ball and just belts it out in the shower. I think in his mind, my birth father has like a courtroom, and he's in like a suit.
In the shower.
Yeah, in the shower. He's in like a courtroom. And he's all like, the magistrate, the defense is guilty.
Objection!
Yeah.
He's yelling both sides of himself.
You in contempt.
I hold myself in contempt.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that is funny.
I came into the house one time, and it was the last time I went to visit, and I was probably like 15 at the time, and I came in and he was going off, and I was all like, oh, he must be on the phone right now. Like he sounds very passionate, must be on the phone. And then I heard what he was talking about. I'm like, oh, that's weird because the person who he's talking about and sounds like he's talking to is right outside the house doing yard work. Are they on the phone? And then I heard the water running. I was like, no, he's just a little Looney Tune. I don't know.
I can't figure out how I'm going to segue this, but I'm going to do my best. So Joseph Petit. I don't even know if I can read this all now. We have a guest today. He was an Air Force brat. His name is Joseph. He was born in the Panama Canal zone and was bilingual from birth. That means he literally came out of the womb and spoke 2 languages right away. I barely get English out, and he's already at birth speaking 2 languages. Then he moved to Mississippi, where they offered him the experiential lens for the greater part of America, how they think, feel, and shop. Educated in Stockholm and Paris, #I'm jealous already. As his language skills grew, so did his worldview, particularly his understanding of the female consumer. Raised by a woman, his experience was always through a female lens. Thus, he was well poised to enter communications and marketing, where he spent the bulk of his career. At every juncture, through New York City marketing agencies to global positions in China, London, and Geneva, Joseph's intimate storytelling abilities, he is from the South after all, combined with a deep understanding of cultural and linguistic drivers, shaped brand campaigns and led retail breakthroughs, sellouts, and more. Not at the least, he's worked with Elizabeth Taylor and has launched the one and only Wonderbra, Gavin's new favorite thing. At the forefront of Gen X, Joseph straddles boomers and millennials and spotted a growing trend. Thanks to technology, the 21st century consumer seeks to belong. 100% agree. Love it. They want brands that not only answer problems or provide a service, but brands that connect them to a community. That was the inspiration behind Phoenix. Together with hand-selected seasoned executives from past clients, Phoenix is designed to deliver products to this new consumer base, products that belong to them. And after 30 years in New York, London, Paris, Joseph now lives in LA, but still feels like a New Yorker. Ladies and gentlemen, do us a favor and give Joseph a round of a hello.
Wow. Wow. You need to write my bio.
I just need to read it for you everywhere you go from now on.
I think I want it on record, and that way I could just play it before I enter the room, and then sort of maybe trumpets or something. But you know what? I'm going to help you out here. I'm going to help you with the segue, because I'm going to dial back for a second. Number one, can sweat be treated by Botox? Yes.
All right. I'm going to show something here, and this is me being open and embarrassing. I sweat a lot, and this shirt is old. This shirt is from South Africa. I swam with my sister, swam with great white sharks, all this stuff. Oh, Mr. O, I've just read your bio. You've been like, oh, I was in China. I made women's boobs bigger. I was in Paris. Dude, you've lived a great life. But my sweatiness, I've been told if I get Botox in my armpits, it would actually help to not sweat as much.
It will minimize it. It will minimize it in the places where you have the injection. Keep in mind, your body is sweating because it's regulating your temperature, right? Yeah. So if you have the injections here in your armpit area, it will solve the issue in your armpit area, but your body's going to make up for it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Oh.
And your feet are on the top of your head.
Exactly. It doesn't reduce the amount of overall sweat you're going to excrete. It reduces it from specific places where the injections are put in, I guess.
I mean, that makes me wonder if theoretically you could get a thin layer of Botox around your entire body and be waterproof.
Would you really want that?
No, not at all. You'd be a living crock pot at that point.
Kind of, yeah. Or I mean, the problem is that exactly none of your body would ever register any kind of emotion.
Yeah, that as well. I mean, that could really help if you want to go to Vegas and be a poker player, professionally.
But you don't need it in your body for that, just in your face.
Bingo.
No. Well, no, because a lot of the times when people are reading body language, it's very little in the face. It's a lot of very subtle movements throughout the body, like your feet or your legs or your hands.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of psychology going on there. And I'm going to address, Gavin, your notion of what you're talking about, the shirt for guys that that Brandon was saying, maybe it'll give them bigger boobs.
Yeah.
You're right. There's a Manx version. It's Spanx for guys, right? It holds in the stomach, lifts up the chest, and it doesn't really lift up the chest. It makes you pull your shoulders back.
Yeah, that's what
so you're basically like, thrusting the pecs forward.
So wouldn't that be more about just posture then?
Yeah.
So if you look at it, the bands go across the back in a crisscross fashion, so they actually pull the shoulders sort of back and down, and that automatically makes your chest look lifted.
Yeah.
Really? Like, that makes sense. It looks more confident then, even, because you're sitting up straight, you got the arms back. Interesting.
You want your shoulders in a T. You're not like that.
Exactly. The category is called shapewear for a reason. It started with women's shapewear, which we all know as Spanx, and there was what was the name of that swimsuit? The miracle suit. You lost 10 pounds in 10 seconds.
Wait, what? I need this.
It was a swimsuit that's been marketed to women for 30 years that I know of. And it's called the miracle suit. And the tagline is lose 10 pounds in 10 seconds, because as women put on the suit, it's shapewear, like Spanx. It's pulling stuff in, pushing stuff around, and it's giving curvaceous women a more defined curve and sort of turns curviness into voluptuousness. So they look like a 40s pinup.
Nice.
Really?
I always love that word, voluptuous. It sounds like a delicious fruit dipped in chocolate.
And in many ways.
In many ways. So I have a question just going off of that. So you have this bathing suit that gives 10 pounds in 10 minutes, like you said.
10 pounds in 10 seconds. You lose 10 pounds in 10 seconds.
That is a really cool slogan, too. Like, it caught me right away. Don't you think men have that same concept, though? They want to look better in their stuff. Like, I'm not saying we could put on, like, a banana hammock and then all of a sudden we look 10 pounds thinner. But, like, wouldn't you say men have that same type of issue at times? They want to look better about what they're doing. They want to feel more comfortable in their skin.
No question about it. And this goes back, I think this has been fostered more in the pop culture mainstream in the last 25 or 30 years with the advent of publications like Men's Health and Men's Fitness and all those publications that are kind of giving us the idealized man's physique. The right shoulders, arms, is sort of like the right workout for your age. All of those things are being drilled in us now that have been drilled into women for ages. But this is the fascinating thing. I remember once, many years ago, I'm looking at the cover of Men's Health and I was like, oh God, I wish I had, abs like that. And a friend of mine was like, a colleague, a woman that I worked with, she's like, oh, are you feeling less than because of images of male perfection in the media? And I was like, maybe a little bit. Yeah. She's like, welcome to every woman, cover of Glamour, cover of Cosmo, every cover of every magazine. We've been taught to reach for an ideal of beauty that doesn't exist. Guess what? So are you.
Yeah.
Well, fast forward, what I learned, which was fascinating, the notion of the perfect body, right? If you go to a museum and you see those sculptures from Greece and Rome, and you see the women and the men, and they're all different, that's not one person. The sculptor might take the calves off of one dude and the butt off of another one, or like the shoulders off of a third. That is an amalgam, right? He pulled the right body parts from different people to be inspired to create this image of perfection. Same with women. So the idea that we've been defining beauty standards differently than we can actually achieve them has been around for millennia.
Well, I think one thing a lot of people don't realize also is a lot of the Greek god bodies, the muscular structure, especially the men themselves, the gods, they have muscles that don't exist on a human physique.
Yeah,
they add muscles and they add different sides and different abs and different parts of their lats and glutes. So that way they have this quote unquote more perfect structure. And a lot of people, they just aren't familiar enough with their own anatomy to realize they physically don't have that to be able to obtain it.
Yeah, like that's not actually human. I think that was sort of the point, is they were elevating the notion of something, because the idea that I think it was Plato who said we cannot achieve the ideal because of the real, right? So they created ideals for us to aspire to, and that doesn't mean that the aspiration is wrong or that the journey towards something better is a bad thing. But when you create something that's unattainable, that's when it can be a little bit, it can play with your head. Especially coming out of COVID when gyms were closed. And I have friends on two ends of the spectrum, right? Some friends were like, I'm going to keep my fitness no matter what. And they were running and working out at home, or they bought equipment and they look better than they ever have. And then you have people like me, where like it's a Geneva peace summit between the button and the buttonhole to get them to meet in the middle. And there's a stress test on it all damn day.
Right? So you've been doing this for years now, according to your bio that I read. I'm going to read
more
it.
than 3 decades.
So, all right, your mom was obviously a big influence on it, like you being raised by that. What made you realize you have this connection to selling and marketing and finding a female demographic that works that well? How did you come about this and see this as a gift as a male?
You know, I think the best way that I could understand it is that when I was growing up, obviously the person I lived with was my mom, because my parents were divorced. I saw my dad not that often. So as a result, like, I'm seeing the world through her eyes. Like, whenever we went shopping for school clothes or grocery shopping or whatever, I'm kind of like viewing. And I was the kind of person, when I watched, I learned. Like, I never took a cooking lesson in my life, but I can cook because I watched my mom do it. I was 7 years old baking. And my brother, who was 14, is like, "How are you doing that?" I was like, "It's on the back of the box."
Sorry.
Dude, I'm Southern. Betty Crocker is like part of my anatomy. Like,
It's because it's not that hard. You follow the instructions.
hello.
Right? Like baking. I remember baking as a kid with my mom. I loved it. To this day, on Christmas Day, we still make sleepover French toast because it was a famous thing we did as kids. But you have to bake it. I made that as a kid. So go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
It's just like just watching my mom all that time. Like, one of the things that I always joke about is I used to sit on the end of my mom's bed while she was getting ready. Now, in the Deep South, you don't even check the mailbox unless you're in full hair and makeup. Like, steel magnolias is no joke.
Oh, really?
That shit is real. Oh yeah, you don't. The grocery store was, I'm not even lying here, around the corner from my house. My mother never went there without a full face of makeup. Like, just not going to happen. So I was the little kid on the end of the bed watching her get ready, going, "Come on!" Like, it's not that hard. But I'm like, "Can we just please go?" Because I'm ready to go. But I'm watching her day after day, time after time, apply her makeup. So now I'm watching the facial contortions. I know what she's doing. I'm seeing how she's using it. I didn't realize until much later that information would come in really handy. Yeah. And I was just accessing it from like muscle memory, from just like watching her, and then that I would come up with questions when I was working with cosmetics and skincare companies, and they're like, "How do you know that?" Yeah. Like the fact that women in the Deep South apply their makeup with sponges. Yeah. Most women in America don't, but women in the Deep South do because of the high humidity.
Yeah. That's interesting. With that, have you noticed that changes your marketing, obviously, with where you're going to be going towards women in that? Because if you're going to be doing a Wonderbra, just because it fits where we're going to go, because it's not just makeup, the way you're going to push that or market that to somebody is going to be different in other areas.
It's not just that it's different from that. It's not just that it's different because it's being marketed to a woman. It's different within its category. So I'll give you the sort of the backstory behind that. In the fragrance industry, they consider two kinds of marketing: above the sheets and beneath the sheets. So beneath the sheets is very sultry woman for man. It's sort of like she's serving herself up for, her man. The woman, like above the sheets, is very woman for herself. It's empowerment, right? It's sort of like, I'm wearing this because I want to feel confident, right? So when Wonderbra was first coming to America, the only thing we had was that Kate Moss had quoted in Vanity Fair that even she had cleavage with the Wonderbra, because it was a European product that was being brought into the United States. And other push-up bras were on the market already. But the thing that made the Wonderbra so breakthrough was it zagged where everybody else zigged. Everybody else, Super Gossard Uplift shows a beautiful model with, a Super Gossard Uplift bra on a dais in Saks Fifth Avenue spilling out of her cups. And it's very, you get all the flashbulbs there, you get all the guys there oogling and ogling. That's one thing. When Wonderbra came in, we were the first ever fashion show with twins. One was wearing the Wonderbra, one wasn't, and they were fully clothed. The reason is because every woman in the audience could tell who's wearing it and who isn't.
Really?
Everything we did for Wonderbra was woman for herself. It was about empowerment and it was about uplift. Where Victoria's Secret had the angels, it's very boudoir, right?
Yes.
Wonderbra was very much, I'm doing this for me. And I learned about a bra inventory. I learned about I learned probably one of the most valuable lessons I learned is you're doing a fashion show for people who buy fashion, right? If you are a retailer, you have a buyer. If you're Bloomingdale's, you have a lingerie buyer, and she's going to go and pick the brands that go into the store and how many and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And the best way to show them is a fashion show, which is what's been going on in the world of, fashion and swimwear and lingerie for decades. So the untold truth is that lingerie models actually have to have more perfect bodies than models who are modeling fashion and clothing, because lingerie models, most of their body is going to be exposed.
Right.
So, there's nothing you're going to hide, pretty much. But one of the interesting things was I learned that if you put a whole bunch of women with perfect bodies in lingerie on a runway, you pretty much set up hatred in the minds of every other woman in the audience.
Really?
Because she's looking at, this 19-year-old genetic anomaly with a flat belly and beautiful breasts, and she's just, gorgeously made up, and she's got lights on her, and every man in there is ogling her. Of course it sets up hatred. So what do you have to do? You change the game. You sort of flip the script and turn this into entertainment. It's no longer about the bra. It's about the theme. It's like, oh, we're doing a circus theme, or we're doing a music theme. We did one year for Wonderbra Sparks Flame. So it was at 3 degrees of wonder. So there was a bra that was lightly lined, a bra that was lightly padded, and then a va-va-voom. And so they have these three, they're calling it 3 degrees of wonder. And we're like, that's about as boring as you can possibly get. So we turned it into Sparks, Flames, Fire. Ooh, and as a result of that positioning, it resonated with the customers, the largest sell-in that Wonderbra ever experienced beyond its initial launch.
Really? So you're literally just targeting, your marketing is completely all about making sure empowerment.
Because that was the path we chose, and it was consistent with the brand. We weren't trying to compete with everybody else in that boudoir arena. We were trying to say, by the way, we know you have a bra inventory. You got a black, a white, a nude, and a Saturday night special, right? So you've got in your inventory, you have these things that you switch out. And so, like, let's kind of play into that. Who are you as the customer? Not what you're buying it for, because the benefit of the boudoir thing is makes you sexier for a man, right? That's sort of the tacit message. Whereas with Wonderbra, it's like gives you the confidence to bring your best self.
Yeah.
So it's like a different message.
I think with the new generation too, like this method will end up becoming the majority of the markets as time goes on with the new generations, only because there's usually three stages that people go through as far as how they present themselves in life. You start out, you're a little kid, you have no social awareness, so you do whatever makes you happy, you do whatever you want to do, and then you start going to school, you start talking to the kids, you figure out, oh, I'm not the only person in the world, I'm not the most important person in the world, so you get that social awareness, and then you start dressing up for others, and like you said, having people stare at you, having people oogle over you. You want that attention. But then eventually you get to a point where you realize, oh, everybody is just as self-conscious as I am, and it doesn't really matter what I do because somebody is always going to be unhappy. So I might as well just go back to that little kid stage and do what I want to do that makes me happy again. Now, because of technology growing so much and communication and the internet where you can see a little bit of everything all the time, people are entering that third stage a lot faster, where they're saying, ooh, I want to be independent, I want to be myself, and I want to do what I'm going to do, and people are either going to love it or they're not going to be in my life. So I really think that you are most definitely ahead of the curve here by doing what you're doing, essentially, which is skipping to that third stage already and showing people, hey, be yourself and do this for you, and those who love you will come to you naturally.
Exactly. And I think, the best word I could use to describe it is authenticity. And today's audience can sniff out when you are woke washing, blackfishing, like whatever it is you're trying to do. This audience, this younger generation can sniff that stuff out. Oh, you're eco washing. Like you've been polluting for 70 years and now you all of a sudden want to recycle in the office. Hooray.
Yeah.
So that's that inauthentic behavior is now being shoved aside because everybody with a phone is a whistleblower waiting to happen. So if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk.
100%.
Because you're going to be policed. Like, it's just that deal.
Now, I've been writing questions, as you could see in here, because I did not want to forget anything with asking
Fire
you
away.
these. All right, so hello, Miranda. I clicked the wrong button. So focusing on that side still, how has marketing changed over the past few years between connecting with customers and brand marketing? Like, there's a lot of new things coming about, from the digital age to the cannabis industry to the so many different ways, and marketing has to change to adapting with the newer developments and products. How have you seen it change over the past, you said, 3 decades?
That's a really good question, I don't know that the fundamentals of marketing have changed, but the tactical deployment has changed. So I'll take you back. A woman named Brownie Wise in the 1940s used to gather, she used to hold these little parties at her home. They were like intimate little parties for about, to call it 20, 25 women in the neighborhood, at which she would show them Tupperware. And they would buy from her off of a form the different Tupperware that they saw. And she created the Tupperware party, which ultimately became the best form of word of mouth marketing. Yes. Because why do I believe that this will work? Because this woman who has it in her refrigerator is telling me, girl, let me tell you, food is fresh for 3 days. They're going to believe that level of interaction because Brownie came up with the best saying ever. She said, telephone, telegraph, tell a woman.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
It's definitely old school because telegraph, right? But if you think about word of mouth marketing, what is Instagram except every single person delivering their own word of mouth? They're referencing products and recommending products. They're gathering followers who are their people in the neighborhood, right? So it's just a different technological deployment of the same fundamentals of marketing. Women still connect with one another in the same way. There's the futurist in New York, her name is Faith Popcorn. She wrote a book a long time ago called Evolution, the 8 Rules of Marketing to Women. And one of the first rules is connecting women to one another connects them to your brand. And a perfect example of that would be Glossier. Glossier started out as a blog about beauty products that quickly grew because it was an incredibly inclusive community, right?
Yeah.
Women with melasma, acne scars, vitiligo, facial spots, plus size women, African American women, Hispanic women. It became an all-inclusive space to talk about all kinds of beauty issues and hurdles and products that were missing. Then the woman who created Glossier pivoted to create product, but she didn't simply create product. She already had an audience that told her what the needs were. She involved them in the creation of the product. And there's a brilliant Chinese proverb. It says, tell them and they'll forget. Show them and they may remember. Involve them and they will understand. Mm-hmm. And so what she did so brilliantly was after she built this brilliant, diverse audience, she built products they wanted and asked for and then sold it to them. That Glossier beauty brand is worth $1 billion.
I have so many things running through my head. The first thing out of my head that I got to ask, because I didn't even get to write it fast enough, is how do you build that, though? Because everybody's trying to build their own brand, especially after 2020. A million different side hustles came about. Everybody's looking to find their best self, and they're tired of the 9-to-5, this is me working for the man type of thing. And then to build a company like that, how do you even start connecting to your customers to get them involved?
I can tell you what I think the best way is, because very often what happens is a founder creates a brand because they have a great idea. They think, we got a better mousetrap. We built something better. So we're going to go market it. People are going to love it. I'm going to put it on Amazon and get reviews from my friends and family, and none of that shit ever works. Yeah. The paradigm has shifted. We no longer are successful when we create a product or a brand and then go find somebody to buy it. You are far more successful when you have somebody to buy it and you feed them what they want.
Wow, that makes sense. How do you know when all right, breaking that down, let's just use the Wonderbra as a very easy example because it's fun to talk about bras with a bunch of guys. So it's literally, you're connecting to this to the women, and it's meant to be more for self-confidence, building them up and all that. But you can't market it as oh, don't worry, this will help land you your man. You're marketing it as this will help build you to be the best you.
This helps you deliver. This gives you the confidence to deliver your best self. It's the same way with the miracle suit, right? This gives me think about it. When you dress up and when you look in the mirror and you're like, damn, I look good today. You carry yourself a difference. You feel yourself. It's like, all right, I got this. I'm good, right? Yeah. When that shirt fits a little snug and like the guns are showing, and you might hear somebody whisper, "Ooh, gun show," as you walk by. Like that's a nice kudo, and you feel like, ooh, very very pumped up. Just about any woman who's listening to this, or any woman ever, has been subjected to some kind of like side eye comment or something that was confidence eroding. Right? So the idea that you can say to a woman, this is a universal feeling, and this isn't about your body type or your size or your skin color or your hair color, or any of those things. This is about helping you bring the best you, right? Helping, and it's called a foundational garment for a reason. So, that's why I think something like that works. And it's the same with Glossier. What she did was she cultivated an audience, asked them what they wanted, then built the product to feed it.
Yeah.
Now, you've been involved with many different brands, from New York to London to Paris. Has one city, it's a two-part question, so just so if you need it, I'll put it up here. When you're there and you've lived in these cities, did one influence you differently than others? And which one would you say really resonated with you? I'm assuming you're going to go New York, but you've been in many different places all over the world that are fashion capitals. Which one would you say influenced your creativity and marketing?
That's a very good question. I'm constantly being influenced by, people, locations, what I read, all that good stuff. But I think the best way for me to answer this question would be to say you draw on something from every place you go. But the truth of the matter is when you're living in New York, I lived in New York for nearly 3 decades, except for the times that I was abroad. I was surrounded by super smart people, and I got to work on really great things. But the people who actually make it a success or not are the ones you fly over from New York to LA. Because New York and California, they have a good sized population, but if you only have a product that's successful in those 2 markets, you're missing the other 300 and some odd million people in between. Yeah. They're the ones who will actually dictate whether or not your product succeeds. And, when they say keep it simple, stupid, like keep it the simpler, the better, the idea, does it play Peoria? That was an old movie term, right? Like when they would create a movie and they would field test it in audiences, they would say, well, does the ending actually play Peoria? Meaning, will people in Illinois understand this complex, convoluted ending? No? Well, then let's retool it. It's the same way with brand marketing. You want to create a message around a universal truth that will resonate with a specific audience. And I was consulting with a skincare company a couple years ago, and we were all on a conference call about this skincare brand that was vitamin C based, and it was marketed exclusively to women. And I, in the midst of talking about the website, new logo redesign, all this kind of stuff, I'm like, guys, there's an inherent problem with this phone call. I'm like, what's that? I was like, everyone on it has a penis.
And that should be prevalent right away for a female product.
Bingo. And like they didn't actually understand what I meant to begin with, but I was like, look, let me tell you a story. Way back in the day, Robitussin, the cough medicine?
Yeah.
So there was a great ad for Robitussin on television that showed how the household went to hell in a handbasket when mom's got a cold. She's up in bed, and the dishwasher's, open, the suds are coming out of the washing machine, the sink is overflowing. And so, mom suddenly feels better and comes down, just sort of like shakes her head and smiles. And the thing that ran through my mind was there is not a woman in the world that wants to get over a cold to do housework.
Right.
I don't think there's a person in the world who would come downstairs after even a good night's rest, see the house destroyed, and go, you little scamps, I see what you did here. Exactly. I'll take care of it. Mom's on the job.
Exactly. You want to get you want to create the aspiration of, I'd like to get better to go shoe shopping. I know that's not my reality, but in the meantime, let's not glamorize housekeeping, for the love of God.
Maybe she was smiling because she thought about just setting the whole place on fire.
Probably. I would have too. But it was a comical moment to sort of tell the brand team, like, you clearly did not have a woman at the table in this.
Yeah.
No, that like completely went left on that one. That was Go ahead, Gavin. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm curious, how have you seen your product has affected, if at all, I'm not sure if people have talked to you about it, their personal experience, but have you seen how your product has affected people's relationships, either friendships, romantic, or even in the workplace where they say, hey, I'm so much more confident now using this product that it has made it where I'm asking for a promotion or asking for raises, or I'm telling my husband, hey, we're going out to this place to eat tonight, instead of having him make the decisions on what we're doing for plans?
I have never heard from someone directly about the level of confidence manifesting itself in that way.
Yeah.
What we've heard back is that it made them feel more comfortable with kind of how they showed up in the room, right? Whether that was a Wonderbra or, if we were doing the skincare or hair care or something like that, the idea that a woman can show up in the room as her full self, not having to worry about, and is this on point? Is my, whatever her particular hurdle may be, acne, scarring, any kind of melasma, those kinds of issues, or, if she's got a run in her hose, any of those things can be kind of confidence depleting. So I've never heard someone say, it helped me get a promotion, but people have replied that it made me feel my best. It made me look better. I feel like I did better as a result. Just that sense of confidence is enough. There was a wonderful self-tanning product out of Australia that I brought to the United States called Skinny Tan. And basically, pretty much any woman in the world will tell you that you look thinner with a tan, right? And so this product actually had guarana in it, which when topically applied, veils the look of cellulite, so hence Skinny Tan. The product name did all of the marketing. And they were the first real inclusive brand, because they never went after perfect 18-year-old girls cavorting by the pool in perfect bodies with perfect tans. They used before and after pictures of their actual users. And this was like a 50-year-old woman in London who was going on holiday in Spain and didn't want to show up pale white. And here's her before and after picture. And as a result of that, the brand went from nothing to 225,000 followers in a matter of 7 months. And we sold almost $2 million in that amount of time. And it was simply using mostly just social media platforms.
Can they still buy Skinny Tan today?
Yeah.
Is it just Skinny Tan? We can Google that, because we're being asked that right away. Like, where can I buy Skinny Tan?
You can find it on Amazon, and and if you go to skinnytan.com, you can order from the website.
I didn't even know this was a thing. That is very cool.
Oh, dude, self-tanner is a huge thing, and I didn't even realize it's not as big in America as it is in other countries like the UK and Australia. But it's funny that in America, the data will show you that it's the smile states, right? California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Georgia. That part of the United States is the major concentration of self-tanner users.
Really? And that makes sense, though. But does that mean they don't market to the people in the northern states because they're not buying as much? Or does it mean that it just is a better sell because of being in warmer states where you aren't?
It's probably demographically.
These days it's you can geo-target your advertising, but not to the level can you go to left-handed redheads in New Jersey? Sure, but if you're a brand and you want to create awareness, you go broad, right? And then it just happens that the preponderance of the percentage of purchases came from those states. That's not to say that there weren't buyers in Ohio or Minneapolis.
Interesting. Would you say women or female customers are an influence over all customers for a brand? I'm asking that, and it's not just going towards the Skinny Tan or the Wonderbra. It's if you can get the female population to be intrigued by your product, do you think that does influence the sales overall for all consumers?
I think it influences the gross domestic product of our country.
That was actually how I wrote it at first. So, does it affect
the chief mom officer is trendsetter. She's buying the stuff for the home, and the people. What happens when you left home, right, and you went to live on your own? Did you buy the same laundry detergent your mom used and the same toothpaste?
Yeah, I did at first.
No.
It was the same stuff that I was accustomed to. I knew what it was. I saw it and I just grabbed it. I didn't even think like pricing. I know this. Yeah.
I've
think
been
it's
getting my own stuff for a while now, though. So I think that's why I didn't follow that sort of suit.
But I bet you dollars to donuts that there are some products you use that you learned about in your home.
Yes.
Maybe groceries. I learned how to get the cheap groceries, the milk and the dollar bread and stuff like that. Yeah.
So there's a wonderful allegory to that. Young girl walks into the kitchen and her mom is making ham, right?
Yeah.
And her mom lops off the end of the ham, puts it in the pan, and little girl says, "Mom, why do you always lop off the end of the ham?" And she said, "I don't know. My mom always did it." Girl picks up the phone and says, "Grandma, I'm in the kitchen. Mom's making ham. She lopped off the end of the ham. She said, you always did it." And she was like, "Yeah, the pan was too small."
Interesting. So grandma was doing it. Oh, God, I'm sorry.
So what this is indicating is there are behaviors we have that are learned, right? That we saw repeated over and over again. We don't actually know why we do them. We just do them. It's like a reflex, right? So Gavin, you buy groceries. You're a value buyer. Like you're looking for the best value. You're not the brand loyal person. Whereas someone who's like, I'm what Procter & Gamble will call a scent seeker. So I like totally go overboard with my laundry. I have a scented detergent. I use Downy with a fragrance, and then I use Bounce. So I'm like, my laundry game is on point, but it smells and feels exactly the way I want it to feel. Right. And those were the brands that I use are the ones that I knew from growing up in my household. But what interested me was I wondered what motivated people to buy those brands, engage in those behaviors. And what I've come to understand is psychologists will tell you that it's recreating a sense of home.
Interesting.
That's actually fascinating. All right, so I'm going to share your website so I don't forget because I'm just enthralled in this conversation. Guys, don't forget to go click on his website. It's one of these things on Joseph's website. They're taking brands. I love this Left of Center Consulting. I just love the name. It is one of these where it pops right off the bat. Your website is smooth, professional. And I like the background picture of you right here. Just seamless as can be. How do you pick a brand to work with? Like, how do you know you want to work with certain brands?
It's for me, it's less about the brand and more about the people behind it. Because the truth is, I say that people say, "Oh, you are such a subject matter expert in skincare or marketing to women, or you really understand luxury and prestige." And I'm like, look, I rotate tires on a car, right? It doesn't matter if the car is a Rolls Royce or a VW Beetle. Yeah. So I've done everything from diamonds to ragu and everything in between. When I change your tires or rotate your tires, the ride's going to be smoother, fuel economy is better, you're going to have a better experience as the brand owner. So I do what I call brand therapy. Like I help brands in a trajectory, right? They're startup brands, they're adolescent level, or they're mature brands. All of them go through some kind of existential crisis. Who are we? Who do we market to? How do we reach them? When do we reach them? What do we say to them? Those kinds of things. So when brands seek me out, they're in one of those existential moments. And a good example of that actually was Kawan, the gentleman you had on just a day or two ago.
Yes.
And what books he read, and he mentioned The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, and you're like, oh, I haven't heard of that. Jeff Olson is he's been a preeminent voice in multi-level marketing, and for many, many years, he was the youngest person to ever run an airport in Arizona. And he's a Texas-based gentleman who runs a company called Neora, and they have a skincare product. And I helped him launch Live Happy, which was the voice of the happiness industry. And believe it or not, Americans spend a little over $3 billion a year on podcasts, books, seminars, products to be happier. And so Live Happy became this kind of voice of the category where we interviewed those authors, those publishers, those content pushers, and people who practiced sort of happiness. And I negotiated for Live Happy to underwrite the United Nations International Day of Happiness every March for the first 3 years that it was up.
I love that. Because like we have a brand, and here is Joseph's Instagram page. Do yourself a favor, do like I'm doing, hit follow. Make sure to go give a couple likes. I already went through. I found the one where he's smiling like this, and I'm like, boom, give it a like. All right, give him some love today, guys. Absolutely. Oh, you're talking there? I didn't even catch that. I'm gonna have to go.
All of
listen
those
to
are videos. I was in a mastermind group for video marketing, and so those are all videos.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm going to be watching those.
They're all like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, so they're snack size.
I love it. Let me share your Instagram as well for everybody, so that way the people can click, go, and subscribe, follow right away. So what would you say the biggest problem has been with brands that are small businesses to even the larger ones building that marketing up? I say that as someone who owns 3 small companies and is growing even exponentially. I have awards sitting right next to me that I haven't even gotten hung up that I'm excited to be using more. How do we maximize that potential? And I'm not trying to make this about me. I just love what you're saying. And I'm like, all right, I got to ask more questions.
Dude, you got to sweat every asset. What you have right there sitting next to you that isn't mounted yet, they're assets, right?
Yeah.
Sweat it across the platform. Let everybody, it's a credential. It's a kudo. It's a backpack. You know, you want something for this reason. People who care about that will naturally, because you're showing up authentically, right? So that's number one you have going on. Number two, there's an audience out there for your product, and you know who they are, but keep in mind that your audiences have audiences.
Yeah.
So the more you involve them in the creation of your content, like, share, and sort of build that portion of your engagement with your audience, the more likely they are to bring other people to you. The most evangelical people you will ever have are the people who love your brand. Use them.
Okay.
That's
how do I use them? And I don't want to sound like that because they're watching me right now.
You know what? Connect with them. The notion of connecting them to one another connects them to your brand. When you provide a space like this for them to ask questions, to interact with you, one thing that consumers love is access. How many consumers get to have access to the people who create the brands they love?
True.
It's very, very rare. You know where it happens most? In the tech industry. People go to CES and they get to raise their hand in front of somebody who works at Microsoft or Apple. But that's not really an engaged connection. What you have is the ability to catalyze a group of people against a particular thing. Maybe it's CBD, maybe it's one of the other companies that you run. But the notion is you can actually grow your audience based on your audience. Keep serving and interacting with them, and they will bring other people to you.
You did your research. You knew I was CBD. I love that. I don't even think I said it today yet. So that was awesome, Joseph. Oh, it makes my heart so happy. So Joseph, when you're doing this research and you're doing these things and you're connecting with customers, do you sometimes just see something and you're like, look, this is what your brand needs to focus on, and you just take that to them?
It's funny you asked that question. I in this mastermind group that I was in for video marketing, one of the things that came out, we had the opportunity to interact with a lot of Jeff Hoffman and Jeff Hazlitt and Kevin Harrington, a lot of really, successful people. And invariably they would come on, they would speak with us, and then it was open to questions. Every single time without fail, hand to God, I always asked the question that came completely out of left field. It was really what I thought, what I wanted to ask, right? Everybody else is asking questions around this, and I come from over here, and they're like, that's a great question. I have a story for that. And suddenly the speaker lights up, so there is this sense that my brain is kind of wired differently. And I'll give you an example. This is the icon on my business card. See that?
Yeah, I like it.
This comes from a true story. I was 12 years old, and we were about to graduate from elementary school, and choir teacher says, you're going to sing for your parents tomorrow. So I want everybody to show up wearing blue and white. And without fail, every kid in class showed up wearing a white shirt and blue pants. I showed up wearing white pants and a blue shirt. So I'm 12. I don't have ulterior motives or Machiavellian schemes in my head. She said, wear blue and white. Instantly, my head goes to, I have those white cotton pants and that blue shirt. I stood out on the dais. Right? Not because I was wearing black and pink. I was wearing the same thing everybody else was wearing. I just wore it differently. Yeah. So I pulled focus naturally. What I've learned is that that way of thinking, that left of center way of thinking, is often what brings out the nugget that is a universal truth. I'll ask someone, what motivated you to do that? And suddenly it's a whole different conversation. because it's no longer about the product, but what the product stood for, the problem that it solved that may be more universal than that person even understands, because they're selling features, not benefits.
Oh my gosh. So I love the story that goes with that. And I think every brand that goes into this, they focus on the features, not like you're saying, but connecting with your customers is a completely different basis on that. And wear blue and white. I'm not making fun of you, Miranda, so please know this. As someone who works in the cannabis industry, stoners talk to other stoners. 100% correct. You are 100% correct. But by
the way, it's not just in the cannabis industry, by the way. I mean, think about this. Men standing around an outdoor barbecue.
Yes.
Right? What are they talking about? Fishing reels, their favorite beer, like the last game they went to. They're going to talk about products and services. I know that if you want to know what a group of women really think about a speaker at an event, I'm not going to tell you how I know this, find somebody who's going to the ladies' room, because they will reveal more of what they really think to each other in the ladies' room, even to total strangers. Like while they're putting on their makeup, what do you think about that? And while they're freshening that up, they'll literally talk real truth to each other. And that they may or may not have put on the form that they gave you as a speaker, right? But that's where you learn the honesty.
I think I might be a woman. Damn.
I was going to say, Gavin, how many times at the conference we were just at one of us would be in the bathroom and we'd be talking to a stranger. What'd you think of that last presenter? What'd you think of this? And we were asking.
I was just thinking too, like the other day I went to go see my brother Logan. He had a kid about 7 months ago. And literally the only thing, like everything we talked about were things all like, oh, how's work going? What's your plan for the future? What, like stuff like that. Like, how's the family? Oh, what do you think about doing this? Like, we very rarely talk about products unless something like really stands out to us. But a lot of the time we're very, very situational speakers with what's going on in our lives.
Totally get that. But Gavin, he's a new father. Trust that he's having the conversation about diapers, diaper pail, formula. Like, he's having that conversation. Maybe not with you, but he's having it with another dad.
Maybe, yeah.
No, it's a definite. I've had foster kids.
Well, I don't know how many dad friends he has.
And that's the other thing, is the people you surround yourself with. Now, hold on. I got to take a step back. Miranda, I wasn't insulting you in any way on that, so I appreciate what you're saying. But the cannabis industry does also have, I'm a stoner, and I will admit that freely. Everybody knows that. And I do talk with other stoners. But the thing is, when you're going cannabis to health, it's two very different things. I know that my mom would not walk into a dispensary and want to look at marijuana products to what marijuana is. But I also know my mom to other people who are females that are purchasing things that don't want to smoke, don't want to do oils, don't want to do lotions. It's finding that way you're connecting with them that's different. And that's why being a different type of product. As stoners talk to stoners, they literally try to find that thing that's going to get them the biggest high. Oh, have you tried dabs? Oh, have you tried this? Have you done this? It helps me with that. I'm not saying you're wrong in any way. I'm saying that stoners talk to stoners about weed, where you're wanting to break out of that and connect with more of a demographic of females to older generations to the younger ones. It's finding what their things are, and they're looking for a whole bunch of things that are not just stoners, not just people who are going to get high. It's people who are looking to, oh, the hemp plant can also be biodegradable. What can we make hemp? What can we turn into that? And that's where building a brand is, where I focus on it being more than just stoners talking to stoners. It's stoners showing what we've learned through the decades and building that community together. I hope that answers.
I agree with you, and I also think, to expand on that there are people out there who may not consider themselves stoners, but still use marijuana and classic cannabis.
Yeah,
and this is where it gets interesting to me. They wouldn't consider themselves stoners, but they are they're users, right? So they're users. How do they term themselves? What are they looking for? The one thing that all of those people have in common is not that they get stoned, but that they're looking for an experience. And what they're using cannabis for is to have that experience, however they define it, right? The most elevated nugget of truth is they're looking for a different experience, an alternate experience, a relaxed experience, a enhanced experience. Call it what you will, but the thing that's true is they're all looking for that experience.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And so some cannabis users are going to be on the CBD end of the spectrum. They're going to want things like anti-inflammation, analgesic, antiemetic. You've got things that help with sleep, anxiety, and reducing. And the top 3 pandemic stressors were chronic pain, anxiety, and loss of sleep. They actually had to coin a new term. There was a massive meta-analysis done of globally the COVID-induced lack of sleep. They call it coronasomnia.
Yes.
It's
100%. It is. It literally just spoke about this, and because some of my next round of products were focusing on what's an area where people hurt the most. People can't sleep, and the minute their mind starts running, even if it's something very small, they need something like a CBN with a CBD, CBDA, and all these different mixtures of cannabinoids to be able to help their body just naturally move to that sleep realm. And that's where I love to have these conversations about this, because I'm sitting here with people who might not want to smoke, but might want not do a gummy, and they're sitting there going, wait a minute, there's all these other things that our body produces that we can make. And it's like, yeah, let's have this conversation, doctors. And for me, I love to stand in front of people and teach, but that's not the best way to build a business. I can create a shit ton of people to follow me. Yeah. But at the end of the day, does that mean they're building the brand, or they like that I'm an outgoing personality that's not afraid to wear a onesie in public? Like,
the bank doesn't care where the money comes from.
Thank you. Exactly. And I love to focus on being different. And I love to focus on providing people ways of finding their best self. That's why we built the whole network. That's why I love you coming in, Miranda. The endocannabinoid system is wonderful. When we were in Las Vegas, I took my whole team through dispensaries, one after another, and they literally were offering me jobs at different places. And I'm like, I'm okay. I appreciate it. I've spoke at your college that you're at, Miranda. This is a up-and-coming industry that has huge changes. California. Joseph, you're out in California. UC Berkeley. Did you see their newest thing they're doing? Mm-hmm. So they have a panel of what they raised over $25 million to start studying the psychological effects on depression, PTSD through psilocybin mushrooms. And it is unbelievable to me how they're not just getting the funding, they're turning around and saying, let's do tests, let's do results, let's find what we can do, and let's help people. Because how many veterans are on the streets that need a little bit of help, and all we have to do is get them something small that we could actually grow naturally, and we're not doing this. As Americans...
You're preaching to the choir. The Bloomberg, I think it was last November or December, said that cannabis represents a larger addressable market than the internet.
Yes. Yes.
Billions. And like your point is very well made. So there's somewhere between 66 and 110 cannabinoids, right? Only a few of them have actually been studied to a large degree. But the National Institutes of Health is now fielding its phase 3 clinical trial for topically applied cannabinoids in the form of CBD mostly, for basically to substitute for opioid use.
Yes. Oh, I love where you're going. Keep going, Joseph.
So if you think about it, the opioid epidemic, right? Yep. On top of, and NSAIDs are valuable and useful, but when people come off of opioids, they're looking for another pain reliever. They go to something like an NSAID, right? Like a Tylenol or acetaminophen or salicylic acid, and it ends up either destroying their liver or destroying their stomach.
Yes.
So CBD, when topically applied, has been proven in many clinical studies to be more bioavailable. It works where you put it. Right. So if it's on your knee or on your, thigh muscle, whatever, from working out, however it is, where you place it is where it works. It doesn't have to go through the systems of the body. And that endocannabinoid system that we have in the body is responsible for homeostasis. And the best way for me to describe homeostasis is pH balanced. Your body is higher pH balance, like it's more acidic and more basic in different areas of the body. Your stomach has lots of hydrochloric acid to break down food. So it's more acidic there than in other parts of your body. But the overall human body likes to be pH neutral. It likes to be in the middle where homeostasis takes place. So that's what the CBD actually binds to those receptors and helps to lower inflammation. And the FDA is like, oh, I don't know if you can say that. Meanwhile, on their site, there's like 36 studies that empirically prove it.
Yes, Joseph, you and I are going to talk after this because I literally worked with my team and we wrote the ABCs of CBD where all we did was take government and medical articles and attach them. Agriculture. How does our government know that if we were to be growing hemp, 1 acre of hemp absorbs more CO2 pollution than 100 acres of trees? And how do we know that we could take that if we did 100 acres of hemp, we could turn that into enough? The state of Georgia is the one that I've used for examples when I did this recently. If we grow hemp as one grow in the state of Georgia, we can replace enough one-use plastics for 1 year in Coke. That is huge. Imagine if we did that across the country. We could change the way we build, the way we feel, the way we change the way we shouldn't just delight ourselves. We need to delight the earth. I'm going to go on a tangent, and I don't need to. I'm so sorry, Joseph.
No, you don't apologize. I think this, the thing about cannabis is that it is the tip of a very long spear of plant-based medicine. And we were, as a society, our FDA was, for the most part, up until its creation, we were mostly plant-based until people started to literally sell snake oil, right? Like, it was, right?
That's why I got into this.
And then the FDA comes in and they put the kibosh on these claims, right? You need to go through this kind of rigor to show this kind of claim. And it got stricter and stricter as time went on. Then we went into sort of like, from a skincare perspective, we went into things like devices, right?
Yeah.
In fact, the man who invented the X-ray first used it on his daughter to clear up her facial acne. She died at 26 of bone cancer.
Oh my God!
Because she's being X-rayed all the time.
Oh, yes. So the notion that there are plants out there that can be augmented and enhanced by science, to be sure, everything from plant stem cells to cannabis as plant medicine to cannabis as soil remediator and air remediator to mushrooms and psilocybin, the fact that they're already using ketamine for people who have severe PTSD and depression. And it is treating them for months at a time, not for hours at a time. Pills do it, in a way for hours at a time, whereas one ketamine session can do it for months at a time. So that's super interesting. They're looking at ayahuasca and all of its different, applications. So there's a lot of these 5-MeO-DMT kind of things that are coming around that were, LSD was originally used by the CIA for like psychological reasons.
Yeah, they use it to get information out of people.
Yeah.
And then, they would dose each other at work. That was my favorite part of them doing this. Is I'm like, really? I can't imagine being on LSD. It's a 12-hour trip. I can't imagine going to work and I'm drinking my coffee and then all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this computer is just moving on me. Like, that's hilarious that's what our government was doing to each other. But like, you are on the exact right page, and there needs to be more of a conversation on this. I'm a former youth pastor, and my parents are very church-going people still, which is not a bad thing. But getting them to hear the word CBD, cannabis, psilocybin, to... My brain stopped, and you just said it. The one that's from the cactus.
Peyote?
Peyote.
Yeah.
Oh, you said ayahuasca. Thank you. We're seeing these studies being done worldwide, and they're having these astronomical results and opening up conversations. I sent my mom on a digital retreat for Mother's Day. She was doing yoga. They talked about all these different things, and they were very open about what it's going to do to you and how you're going to have these reactions. But what's fascinating to me is the studies have shown one ayahuasca trip, will be enough that you could go through with the proper shaman and everything. You will get decades of therapy in one session. And people are like, oh, how can I do that? Oh, how? By actually opening up, by letting these things do their thing. We've talked so much, and there's only 2 minutes left in the show. Gavin just gave me the look like, B, we're going to have to wrap this up. And I'm like, So, Joseph, the way we end every single episode is we tell people how they want to leave their impact on the world. And it's not like, I'm going to go open a door and not expect somebody to say thank you. No, it's what do you want to do that leaves a legacy of Joseph? What, like, we do this every day. I'll let Gavin go first. I'll go second. That way you get a minute to think, and then I'm going to have you go. So, Gavin, give us your final thoughts of the day, hero.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that I want everybody to take away from today, and it was said more at the beginning of the interview, is there are those 3 stages when you're growing up. It's you do everything for yourself, you become socially aware, and then after a while, you start to do things for yourself again. And it takes some people longer than others to get to that 3rd stage. And so I want you to try to spend the weekend, just the day, just doing things for yourself. That doesn't mean be a dick to people. That doesn't mean push people out of your life. Ooh, there's some thunder. It's a good one. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. Yeah. It means make sure that you are taken care of, and don't be so self-conscious when you're going out, because everybody is just as, if not more, self-conscious and anxious and lost in the world as you are. And that's okay.
Well said. Well said, buddy. For me, it's Miranda, I'm going to use you again because I love what you're doing. Her grandfather had Parkinson's, and my grandmother was against using the cannabinoids, cannabis, until my mother and I convinced her. After seeing the insane improvement in his condition, she never looked back. Guys, that's just the cannabis plant. Sometimes in life, it's taking that moment to take your phone, put it in another room, and take 5 minutes for yourself, and your whole world starts to change doing that once a day. Today is a day to look in your mirror, look who you love the most, and if it's not you that you're putting first, realize that that's where the first thing you need to change is. Love you first, because that is where the world gets changed. Joe, you're up, my friend.
I think if the question is about the impact that I'd like, to have had on the world, I would say I would like people to know that happiness is a choice. And there is a French philosopher, La Rochefoucauld, who said, "On est si heureux ni si malheureux qu'on s'imagine." One is only as happy or as unhappy as he imagines himself to be. Happiness is a choice, and it's not a choice for sissies. It doesn't mean you go around, smiling and delighted all the time. It means you choose to look at what happens to you in your life through the lens of betterment, not destitute.
I love it. Can you say that again? How many languages do you speak? That was literally one of my questions I wrote down because of how much you moved, and I never got to ask that.
4 decently well, another 2 a little bit.
Nice.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow. Can do it one more time, and that's how we're going to go out today, guys. Joe, thank you again. Go give him a follow. What a great show today, guys. Amazing episode. I love the audience interaction. Joe, hang out for a few minutes after the show. I want to make sure I connect with you. So
Absolutely.
One more, buddy. It's all yours.
On est si heureux ni si malheureux qu'on s'imagine.